Well, what did you think of that? Did that get you in the mood? Santa Claus is coming to town there from Bruce Springsteen. It's currently 24 minutes to 6 and the countdown is on. And by my calculations, we've got at least 3 weeks now until Christmas. And I wonder how prepared you are. Perhaps you're on top of it all. Gifts are purchased or made and the Christmas cards just about have a stamp slapped on the front of the envelope. But what about entertaining? Are you the host this year? And if you are, how prepared do you think you are? Well, the good news is that I've got a little help in our Triple UFM studio this afternoon. Katrina Findlater is from Nowra TAFE and she's busy studying for her Diploma in Events Management and also one of the key people that was behind the Celebrity Chef where they hosted Colin Fassnidge, Justin North and Warren Turnbull. Welcome to the show, Katrina. Oh, absolute pleasure. Now, tell me, how long have you been studying events management for?
Started this July.
Okay.
And it'll take me through to July next year.
So a good 12 months?
Yeah. But previous to that, I did my Cert 3 in events just to see if I would like it and fell in love with it. So continued on to my diploma.
You're one of the key people behind Celebrity Chef this year. What was that like?
It was so exciting, but so nerve-wracking. We're only a small diploma team, but the three of us worked amazingly together. We sort of took it in turns to oversee the event. We had 130 guests, so it's a 6-course degustation with matching wines. So it's a lot to oversee. I oversee the bar, oversee the other students who were doing the drop of the food, just make sure everything was running to plan, following the run sheet, ensuring guests were, happy. So yeah, it was pretty full on, and that was probably our big major event of this course, the diploma. Obviously we were marked on it and it was nerve-wracking, but it was so exciting. And obviously meeting the chefs was, quite exciting for us and getting photos and whatnot. So yeah, that made it pretty awesome.
and out of the 3 chefs, did you have a favourite one at all?
To be totally honest, Mark Olive, he was so lovely.
Yep.
So he was the MC for the evening. But I'd probably say Colin Fassnidge. He's funny, and out the back, they were having such a good time. And it's nice to see chefs really relaxed in that environment because sometimes you think, famous people, you just don't know what they're going to be like. But honestly, he was funny. Justin North was lovely, and so was Warren Turnbull. So I honestly can't say that, there was anything wrong. They were hilarious. They interacted with everybody, were happy to get photos. So it was actually a really good night.
When it comes from 130 people, say, down just to a smaller family gathering or just having some friends over for lunch or dinner, surely you must have a few tips for us.
Yes.
Okay, what are they?
I think the big thing is have more than enough food.
Right.
Overcater. Obviously don't waste food. But I come from an Italian background and we have plenty of food for, if 100 people turn up, we could probably feed them. Wow. So I would say food is a big thing and I think it's a memorable thing. You want your guests to be full, happy, and also utilising local produce is important, I think, as opposed to, you store-bought stuff. So local grocers is always good and it's a lot more fresher.
And you're supporting local business.
Exactly right. Yeah, yep. And I think another big thing is time management.
Okay, yeah.
So be prepared.
Right.
Set up. You think you got enough time? You don't.
Yeah, we've all seen those cooking shows on TV, haven't we? Where the time rapidly runs out.
Yeah, and you think, I'll have plenty of time, but no, things go wrong. So always allow more time than you think you need. And food to me is a big thing, and allowing enough time. Obviously, what I love to do is setting up, so styling, and that's another thing. You need to really work out what takes the longest. Try and do it the day before. That helps. Things like lighting, chair covers, stuff like that. That's sort of the stuff that takes a long time.
Now, I've got another question for you. If you've got some special friends coming over and you want to really impress or surprise them, you go through, say, the Donna Hay cookbook or something, you find something quite extravagant. Do you think it's wise to perhaps trial the dish beforehand?
100%.
Yeah,
yes,
okay.
100%. I'm unfortunately, I'm not a big cook in the family. My
Yep.
sister's amazing. My mum's amazing. I can cook, but I love to use a slow cooker.
So do I. They're great, aren't
Anything in a slow cooker is
Set
amazing.
and forget.
Yep. I honestly think that I've probably tried every dish in a slow cooker, and even lasagna, and it turned out amazing. So I can cook. It's just that I'm probably not as good as my mum and my sister.
But I got to say, though, does that come down to sort of wise time management there? If you're going to be chucking stuff in a slow cooker, as I said, you sort of set and forget, and you can go off and set the table.
That's it, yeah. And that's pretty much what I'm like. I can do 10 things at once. And I think that comes from, being in events, doing events, loving events, because you've got to multitask.
I was asking listeners before to let me know if they had any entertaining disasters, and the one that I particularly recall myself, and I hate to say it was actually this year. I don't know why, but I was trying to impress my mother-in-law and decided to try and bake a Victoria sponge cake. So I followed it down to the yes, thank you. But you haven't heard what happens next. Came out of the oven and it looked like it had risen beautifully. So I let it cool down. And of course, what happens? It sinks in the middle, doesn't it? And I had absolutely no time to try and save myself. So a little bit of quick thinking. I found a big Love Heart cookie cutter in the drawer. So I whipped that out and sort of stuck that in the middle of the cake where all the soggy bits were and took it out, and then just sort of filled it up with jam and cream, and looked absolutely gorgeous. And it's like when people sort of ask me about, good guess, that's what I meant to do. But it was an utter disaster. So
you think on your feet, but then the guests don't know any
No, they
different.
don't. Well, they might now.
That's it.
I do apologise, everybody. But no, absolutely, when it comes down to time management. Now, what about some traps to avoid when it comes to entertaining over Christmas?
Traps to avoid. I mean, it really depends on how many people you are catering for.
Okay.
I think you've got to stick to a budget.
Oh, okay.
I think that's a main thing, because a lot of people don't. Not just Christmas, but even events like, your Christmas parties.
Yeah.
I think that's one thing. And in the past, I've done events for, some family, friends, and I think that's a big thing. You need to stick to a budget. You need to be realistic. You need to understand that, the budget that you have, don't expect, if you have a small budget, don't expect a royal wedding.
Exactly.
And a lot of people do. And unfortunately, that you've got to be realistic. So I think you've got to work out a budget and try and stick to it. You've got to work out what is important. For me, it's food and obviously entertainment. So you want the guests to say, I had a fantastic time, the music was great, the food was fantastic. They're not really going to remember things like a cake, your favours, or as we call it, bomboniere. So
what was that? What was that?
Bomboniere. So in Italian, we call our favours bomboniere. So in weddings, they're our little gifts to guests. So things like that people spend a lot of money on, but people don't really remember them. So you've really got to work out what is worth it. Yeah.
Now, I know I was just about to let you go, but I have one sneaky late start question for you.
Yeah.
When it comes to Christmas music, what do you tend to put on?
Oh, I'd probably have to go Mariah Carey.
Thank you, Katrina. If my partner Bill's listening, I do apologise, but I finally got someone to back me up with Mariah. She is good, isn't she?
She's very good.
I think she's been underrated when it comes to Christmas.
Yeah, she rocks the Christmas song.
She does. Katrina, look, thank you so much for coming in this afternoon. It's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. And I wish you the best of luck for your next 6 months at TAFE.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolute pleasure. That was Katrina Findlater from Nowra TAFE, who's studying hard for her diploma in events management. And hopefully you've got some good tips there. And if you've missed anything, we'll pop the interview up on our Tuesday Drive Facebook. But here's a little dish you could prepare for loved ones this Christmas. Buttered popcorn. It's 10 minutes to 6. This is Tuesday Drive. Good afternoon.
My baby likes